Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. Much respect to all the men and women who step inside the octagon. And you always want to bet with caution, so you never want to bet more than you can afford to lose. Of course, we go into it wanting to win, and win. But, you don't want to bet more than you can afford to lose. And then also, you always want to check your local laws, local government to make sure that everything is good to go. So with that all being said, we have UFC Fight Night 61. Now I've done my homework, and now it is time to take the test. So we have some very interesting matchups, some very interesting styles, and I have a vision of underdogs tomorrow afternoon, and I am very excited to share them. I am very excited to put it out there, and yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time breaking down these fights, watching the fight footage, and making sure that that the picks, the odds, and everything is in line for us to have a profitable night. So let's dive right into these fights. So for the first fight of the night, we have a very interesting matchup. And the reason I say that is because we have a guy in Ivan Jorge, and this guy, I mean, he is just, in my opinion, just completely done. I mean, this guy, oh man, watching him fight is just frustrating. I bet on him before, and I'm won with him, and he is just not. His wrestling is no good. His takedowns are terrible. Once he actually gets the fight to the ground, it's okay. His stand-up is subpar. And, I'm just, every time I watch him, I'm just not impressed with him at all. And on the other side, we have a guy in Shockley who hasn't proven anything in the UFC. He hasn't done a dang thing in the UFC, and so that doesn't make it any more enticing to bet on him. And so as I look at this fight, how could it go? In which ways could it go? Well, if Ivan Jorge has it his way, he'll end up submitting Shockley. And if Shockley has it his own way, what can he really do? Win a decision? Maybe get a knockout? Maybe land some fluke submission. I doubt it. Now, I will say this. Shockley is trained by, or maybe mentored, or maybe just a training partner, but Keith Wisniewski, who's fought Ivan Jorge before, nearly beat Ivan Jorge, taking the fight on short notice. And Shockley, Jorge is 34. Shockley's 25. I think Shockley has more of the raw tools to make himself a decent fighter, to surpass what Ivan Jorge has done. And just with the distaste, how much I am not a fan of Ivan Jorge. This one is going to be a do not bet. Do not bet. And I'm actually going to go with a pick. I'm going to say that Shockley shocks the Brazilian crowd and starts off the night with an upset here. Starts off the night with a nice win for him and his team. And he also trains with Elkins. He trains with, like I said, Wisniewski. So I think it is a good matchup for him. I think that that Ivan George might even possibly be taking him lightly, and Shockley's not one to be taken lightly. If I had to bet it, if I had to make a bet, the bet would definitely be on Shockley. There's no freaking way that I will lay minus 225, nearly 2.5 almost, on Ivan George at this point in his career, and with Shockley, I'm not really that interested. I'm not really too interested at this price in betting him because he hasn't proven anything in the UFC. So I could see Ivan George gassing out and Shockley winning a decision, maybe even getting a finish in the third round. So Shockley for the pick by decision. Do not bet. I'm not interested in betting it. Haven't bet anything on it. I'm not going to bet anything on it. So that is the final verdict for that fight. Cody Gibson versus he's got so many names, this guy. Douglas D. Silva, Andrade versus a Renegade. Now, let's who do I want to talk about first? Why don't we go ahead and talk about, since I'm laughing, I'll share with you what I'm laughing about. So, Douglas Andrade, is refreshing my mind and my opinion, my thoughts on him and his fighting style. I watched his fight, and right away I noticed this guy was doing some weird quivering things, some weird shivering as he's walking to the octagon. I don't know the name of what kind of strong, super jacked up Amazon rainforest mate tea this guy drank before his fight, but he had a little bit too much, and you could see him shaking and quivering, and he had the chills, and shaking his head from side to side and doing these weird things. I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? This guy had too much of a stimulant, too much of an upper for his fight, and then you see him at the weigh-ins. I mean, he just looks like nothing but skin and muscle, no body fat, and that's even before he gets into the octagon. A weird character, not healthy looking guy. But let's talk about how he fights now. In his first fight in the UFC, he was tense, he was slow, he was just especially in the first round. I mean, he just looked as bad as I've seen a fighter look in the first round in the UFC. Just stiff, robotic, just terrible. But his opponent, he was no joke. The little thug and the little Tukhov, whatever. What's his name? Thugov. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tukhov, Zubaida. What an interesting name, that poor guy. But he's a real good fighter. That kid's a real good fighter. And but still, Silva looked terrible on his behalf, just really bad. How much of a product that was from Zubaida, we'll find out here pretty soon. But Cody Gibson is nothing to play around with. I mean, I wish Cody Gibson would stay off of TMZ and I'm Google searching him. The first thing that pops up is that whole TMZ thing. Google me, Google me, bitch, or whatever he was telling that guy at the bar. But watching him fight, he is impressive. He's more impressive. For the most part, for the most of the time, just like most fighters, they have their good days, they have their bad days, but for the most part, he's good. He lost the submission in the last second of the round to Manny Gambirian, but Manny Gambirian has a squeeze like no other. Joe Rogan was talking about it during the fight. These guys who do judo and work their grip so strongly for many years, they have a really, really good grip in the octagon, and so that's what Cody Gibson ran into. Andrade doesn't have that. Andrade is going to offer more in the stand-up. He's going to want to keep it standing. And Cody Gibson, he'll be all right on the feet, but he'll be better off taking it to the ground. And Cody Gibson has power. He's got the wrestling. So I'm going to go with Cody Gibson here. I'm not too worried about Andrade. I do think there's better opportunities. Cody Gibson right now is sitting at minus 230, minus 225. And that price, maybe closer to just straight up 2-1. But it's a little bit too high right now. But Cody Gibson is the pick. If I had to bet it, it would be on Gibson. I'm not going to bet it, though. It's a do not bet. Do not bet. Do not bet. So that is it. Now, how do I see him winning the fight? I see Cody Gibson having the ability to win a decision, perhaps a 29-28 split decision, maybe 29-28 on all three scorecards, maybe even a 30-27 by decision, using his wrestling. Maybe even outstriking him a bit on the feet, especially in the first round. Maybe even knocking him out in the first round. So there's more ways for Gibson to win, and that's how I see that fight going. So two Americans there. That's what I have. TJ Wahlberger, Oliveira, scratched. TJ fainting during the weight cut process, and it's too bad because I was looking forward to that fight and breaking that one down, but we'll have to save that for another day. See, I see a couple things in TJ that are concerning, and then of course he faints. I feel like that's happened. I remember when I was gonna bet the farm on Diego Brandao coming off that loss. He was going down to Brazil and fighting. I don't remember that guy's name, but Brandao was gonna get the submission round 1, and I wasn't able to bet that one. Anyway, so let's go to Tiago Trator. Tiago the Trator Trader. Against Mike de la Torre El Cucuy. El Cucuy de la Torre versus Tiago dos Santos. Now, I think this is where Brazil will finally get on the scoreboard here. I think, I believe Trator is just a little bit better everywhere and anywhere the fight might take place. Although De La Torre might want to wrestle, but I don't believe that his wrestling is that much better than Trator's where he's going to be able to hold them down. I think Trator will be able to defend some of the takedowns and keep it on the feet, and then possibly light him up on the feet. Trator possibly lighting up De La Torre on the feet. But this one is not one I am too confident on because I could see De La Torre taking him down and maybe hold him there and maybe grinding out a decision. So this one I'm not super eager to bet it. And Trator is moving down in weight. That's the other thing that really concerns me. He's moving down to 145. He looks good, though. He looks in shape. You know, he doesn't look like I was saying earlier, Andrade. Trator looks in shape, and I think Trator will have enough, possibly winning a 29-28 unanimous decision. Maybe getting the finish. But as far as how I see that one going down, I see it Trator being better everywhere that's going to matter, getting the decision win. Trator sitting at minus 200 at least right now. Let me see. Yep, minus 210, minus 200, minus 210. That's a bit steep. I'd like to see it like 170, 175. 170, 180 would probably be fair. But no, I'm not interested in it right now. So Tiago Trator by decision, but do not bet. I'm not interested in betting it. I'm not going to bet it. And I think that'll slide right over to another Brazilian getting a win. And we have William Daffy Duck Macario. Oh, I gotta get my background here. Make sure I get my background here. Keep me. Hey, what's going on here? There we go. Anyway, so Macario. This one is going to be interesting. Macario versus El Patolino, William Patolino Macario versus Matt Dwyer. Now, Matt Dwyer's in the UFC because he stepped up on short notice to take a fight and got knocked out bad. And Patolino Macario is a guy who the UFC would like to turn into a star. And you'd like to see him win. And they have And Macario has faced very difficult opposition, very good level of opposition for a beginner, for a guy making his debut. Leonardo Santos traveling to Vegas, beating the crap out of Bobby Volker, and then against the Neil Magny fight, he didn't look so good. But then again, it is Neil Magny. Neil Magny's a top rising star, and but Macario for this fight, first round knockout. You could see he's got the eye of the tiger, just ready to go, ready to win. I'll have a good amount of units on him, a good amount of faith, and something else that I wanted to share for all you guys is that I'm going to go ahead and start releasing not the video. The video will still wait how it is now, but I'll be releasing my bets as soon as I finalize them. And that's just something that I have thought about, and I think it's best to do that because the prices obviously change, go up and down all over the place. But for the plays that I think I can help, for the plays that I believe I can help you guys get a better price on, I'm just going to release those early. And for the clients who are interested, for the potential clients who are interested, that'll be something positive, I believe. And of course, it's not always going to be correct, but the intention is that we make even more money. So that help you guys even make more money. So yeah, William Macario, very, very high vote of confidence. Just about a 5-star pick. Just about a 5-star pick, really. And it'll be a high 4-star. Very, very high 4-star pick. And first round knockout. Dwyer, very, very tall guy, very, very long guy, very, very hittable guy. Not impressed with him at all. He would really have to do something special to win, and I don't see it. So first round knockout, Patolino Macario, and excited for that because that'll be the first betting pick, and they'll get some parlays going and some stuff going for us. So I like that one a lot. And for the next fight, we have Jessica Andrade, Batisteca, against Marion the Bruiser Reneau. Andrade, very familiar with her. I've bet her in the past. I've won with her in the past. And just a tough little woman. Everybody has said it, but it's worth repeating. She should be fighting at 125. She's a small girl, and but she's tough. Puts her head down, throws the punches. People compare her to the Vanderlei Silva of the women's division. She looks jacked like Vanderlei Silva was in his days. So who knows what'll happen with the. Well, I guess they won't be testing them, Because it's not a main or co-main, or it's down in Brazil, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, she's a tough girl. But Marion Reneau is also a very tough girl, and I doubted myself in her first fight, and I thought to myself, no, the grappler will get the takedown and do the wrestling. And but Reneau just what I like about Reneau is that yes, she's old, but you know what? You can tell that she has the best of both worlds, and what I mean by that is that she has the wisdom and the knowledge that should come with age. She has that, and she also has the life experience. But she has all the strength and power and everything that a younger woman fighter would have, in my opinion. And so I think she gets the best of both worlds here. She doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. She's just a fresh, strong 37-year-old fighter who I think matches up well with Andrade everywhere and anywhere the fight may take place. I think on the feet, Reneau has the capability to get a good gauge for her jab, for her striking, and keep Andrade swinging just wildly. And that's kind of concerning, though, because the judges might say, well, because Andrade is so aggressive, they might say, hey, she's coming forward here, and she's going to win the fight. But ultimately, I think Reneau is worthy of not only a pick, but also a bet. And this line is one of the lines that opened up at, this line opened up at plus 156, and it's up to plus 225. And I have a suspicion that it'll continue to climb. I think it'll continue to climb because I think Andrade will be put in parlays, and people will lose faith in Reneau, as they have already, obviously. She's plus 225. I think it'll keep climbing. So for the pick, Marion Reneau. For the bet, Reneau by decision. Maybe even a stoppage, maybe even a knockout. Carmouche knocked out Andrade, and I think Reneau, if this was in the U.S., I would have even more faith in her in this fight. But I have enough faith in her, and she'll be a betting pick, 3 stars, and I'll go down and I'll go over the bets, obviously. And let's see, who do we have up next? Who is up next? Oh, yes, Santiago Ponzinibbio, gente boa, good person. Santiago, the good person, Ponzinibbio, from Argentina, against Sean Tarzan Strickland. Now, Strickland, what a interesting character here. This guy, I am not as impressed as most of the public is. I am not as impressed as most of the people who watch MMA are. I'm not really that impressed with him, and I think he's young, and I think him going down to 170. We'll see how he performs. I'm not sold on him though. Santiago Ponzinibbio, a very interesting guy. He lost against LaFleur, and that's the one everybody keeps talking about. But LaFleur, in my opinion, is a very underrated fighter. So, with Strickland, beating Bubba McDaniel, and arguably, not even arguably, he lost that fight against Barnett. Just a very, like I said, I'm not a big fan of his, and he's going to have to win me over. I'm not completely sold. Very tempted to pull the trigger on Ponzinibbio. Right now, Ponzinibbio is up to 170. I have a feeling that I'll continue to climb, so I'm going to hold off. Ultimately, I'm not going to make it a betting pick for Ponzinibbio, but I am going to make him a pick. Do not bet. I'm going to keep my eye out on it, but do not bet for tracking purposes here for the video. Ponzinibbio will be my pick. I will say that Ponzinibbio will get possibly a knockout, and I think that Strickland might try to do this thing where he runs away and uses his footwork, but I think Ponzinibbio will be able to get his hands on him and make him pay for running around and doing that type of thing. I think Ponzinibbio has sneaky power, and I think he can land. So Ponzinibbio by knockout will be my prediction. But like I said, it's not a big confident prediction at all. Otherwise, it would be a betting pick. So ultimately, I'm probably going to pass unless the price reaches something ridiculous, like plus, I don't know, 2 something. But do not bet. Iuri Alcantara versus Frankie Saenz. This is a fight that really triggered my whole thing about releasing the bets on some of my picks and predictions and bets, releasing them early and not necessarily having to wait until I do the video or wait until after, but rather releasing them as we go, so that way I can put my full endorsement on it and those bets are out. So out early before the line moves, and man, did the line move on Iuri. Iuri, first round knockout. Frankie Saenz, bless his little heart, but not tomorrow. Is strong wrestler, but it's too much. Alcantara is too much right now. Maybe someone else, but Alcantara and his brother going up to Greg Jackson's and just man putting some good work in over there, showing their commitment, going up there, just wrecking all kinds of havoc, fighting, and just a pair of cool brothers. I like the Macario brothers. I'll definitely be rooting for him. Definitely think he's gonna win. The whole stuff about me liking them and them being Greg Jackson fighters, that comes after the analysis of the actual techniques and fights, what I see with my eyes. So, like for example, Alcantara can win this fight by submission. He can win it by knockout. He can win it by decision. If he wins by decision, might drop the third round, so that would be 29-28 unanimous. Maybe winning that third round 30-27, and then by submission in round one, he could lock up. Saenz could go for Frankie Saenz can go for a mediocre takedown and get caught, or get caught with a knee, with a kick. So Alcantara, 4 stars. And definitely will be betting him. Rustam Khabilov. Oh, the Tiger. Oh, can't wait for that fight. And Adriano Martins. Oh, I can't wait to hear, what is that, Greg Jackson, his accent. What a funny guy. And Khabilov will win by decision, if not finish Martins. This is an interesting fight. If it was taking place in the U.S., Khabilov will definitely be a betting pick, but because it's taking place in Brazil, I'm just going to pass on it, especially at this price. If the price was lower, I'd pull a trigger on it. But Khabilov should be able to use his wrestling and win a decision. Greg Jackson's down there. He didn't get to do his training camp in New Mexico, but I don't think that should matter too much. Martins has the good striking, so could possibly get lucky. Maybe possessed down there in Brazil, but I doubt it. So the betting pick, or the pick, will be Khabilov, do not bet, and that sums that one up. Cezar Ferreira versus Smiling Sam Alvey. Wow, what a interesting fight. So Cezar, people they see the physique, they see what Ferreira looks like, and they think to themselves, oh man, this guy must be a killer. But he's no killer. Sam Alvey, they look at him and they say, oh, what a cheesy guy. He is a cheesy guy, but you know what? This cheesy guy has some decent power. And he's a smart guy. As for silly and just kind of goofy as he looks, he's a smart guy. And people love making fun of him. But you know what? I think in this fight, Sam Alvey will be able to touch Cezar Muchanch's chin, and Muchanch will go out. I mean, watching Cezar fight, it's like if he even gets touched on the chin, he goes nearly gets knocked out every single time. And some guys just are built that way. That's just the way they are. And no amount of training with the Black Zillions, who have their own set of problems, what was I going to say? With this whole TRT, Vitor Belfort, and this is Vitor Belfort's son and all of that. I mean, I don't see a better time to pull the trigger against Cezar Muchanch than right now. So Sam Alvey by knockout in round 2. And I love the odds. I think the line will just continue to climb even more. Right now, plus 315, plus 310, plus 300, plus 290. So all over the place, 3-1. And I love this fight. I really do. And even myself, at first glance, I thought, oh, Cesar Muchanch. And then once I started watching the refreshing my mind about him, I was like, my God, I can't bet on this guy, especially not at that price. Maybe at I don't know, minus 150, minus 160, but minus 320, Mutanch, minus 365. Are you kidding me? And then I watched Sam Alvey and I thought, all right, let me watch this guy. And then I was reminded, like, wow, this guy does have power. And I mean, it's not something to blow your socks off, but it's enough. And so Alvey by knockout round 2, 3-star pick. Edson Barboza versus Michael Johnson. Very interesting fight here. Barboza, another guy who's got issues with getting knocked out and just being touched, and what did Barboza say in the interview on Monday? I think he was saying something like, if you look at my record, I've only been knocked out once in kickboxing, in over 30 fights, and in MMA, I've only been knocked out once. But he gets put on roller skates all the time, and Michael Johnson has that type of power. So if Michael Johnson decides to wrestle, I believe that he won't get all the takedowns. Maybe he'll get half of them. But sometimes all you need to do is get one. And once you get that takedown, you win out that round. That's one round your way. And I think Johnson is going to be much faster than, let's say, like Danny Castillo or some of these fighters. And I think Michael Johnson's ceiling is higher. I think Michael Johnson's going to come in possessed. I think he's got a point to prove here. And I expect Michael Johnson to go out there and win as an underdog. Michael Johnson by knockout in round 2, possibly even round 1. I just think that, like I said, if it goes to the ground, I think Johnson will be the one initiating it. And if it stays standing, Barboza obviously has those kicks. But I think Johnson's going to be prepared for it. I really do. I really think Johnson will be prepared, ready. And Johnson's price keeps climbing up, plus 160. Could possibly go higher. This one, I think 160 is probably going to be as good as it can get. But hey, there's for wishful thinking. So Michael Johnson will be the winner there. And then moving on to the next one, we got Frank Mir versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Two interesting heavyweights. I think Bigfoot off TRT. I think that's what was holding his career together. Off of it, I don't see it for Bigfoot. I really don't. Very, very slow. No chin. The only thing he's got going for him here is he's at home. And Frank Mir, like Brock Lesnar will call him, I think Frank Mir knows that he has to win this fight. And if he doesn't win this fight, it's pretty bad. He might as well retire. And I think Mir's motivated. I think Mir knows he can win. And I think Mir will win this fight. So definitely for the betting pick, knockout round 2, Frank Mir, and that's a good plus 240, plus 250, even at plus 220, plus 200, even 2-1. That's a good deal, in my opinion. So that wraps that up. That sums that up. And let's go ahead and go into the bets. So MMA Dog bets, here are my bets. Here they are. 1 unit equals 1% of the bankroll. Frank Mir at plus 250, 2 units to win 5. Frank Mir wins inside the distance at plus 300, half a unit to win 1.5 units. Michael Johnson at plus 160, 2.5 units to win 4. And, before I forget, well, of course you have this all on text, but just for the video purposes, there aren't any 5-star picks, unfortunately, but there are 2 high 4-star picks, Alcantara and Macario. 3 stars, Frank Mir, Michael Johnson, Sam Alvey, and Marion Reneau. So where were we? Michael Johnson at plus 160, 2.5 units to win 4. Sam Alvey at plus 310, 2 units to win 6.20. Marion Reneau at plus 225, 2 units to win 4.5. And then Alcantara at minus 750 and Macario at minus 350 gives us 219, 3.28 units to win 1.5. William Macario wins inside the distance at minus 150, 1.5 units to win 1. And Mir versus Silva doesn't start round 5 at minus 377. Macario versus Dwyer doesn't go to decision, minus 300. Parlay, that gives us minus 146, 0.73 units to win half a unit. So the grand total is 14.51 units to win 24.58 units. So tomorrow might possibly be my biggest night ever. That's what I'm hopeful for. That's what I have done my homework for. So I would love it if all those underdogs came through. I really would. And like I said, this is for the reason I read off all the bets is for the video. But all of our clients get the bets in text file, so they don't have to watch the video to get the bets if they don't want. They have to sit there and listen and put it down or call it through or whatever they're gonna do. So yeah, that wraps it up. I feel like I'll say something else. What else? What else is there? Very excited for next week too. Already, the line's open today, and I already saw some good, a couple of good bets to make. And so I'll be sending those out as soon as I finalize them. Hopefully, for our clients that pay for 184, that would be Monday or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but earlier during the week, sending some of the bets out. And so yeah, so all done. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all of our clients, all of our supporters, and everybody who cheers on and cheers us on and helps make this all possible. Thanks to my dog for taking care of all the technical website, social media, electronic stuff, which allows me to just focus more on just watching all the fights, breaking it all down, and then putting together the bets. So that wraps it all up. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that we are all celebrating like we were in the Amazon forest, drinking some of that mate tea. And I hope all you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys real soon.